Hey, this is Morty back with another video. Today we're going to go over Act 2, the bosses that you need to kill to get through it, and any extra like bonuses that you can get from Act 2. It's a very big zone compared or big map compared to Act 1, and you're really doing a bunch of bouncing around because of the caravan and different little waypoints that you have to click on. So it's a little bit of a hassle when it comes to that. This is not like a specific order that you can go in. I'm just going over the areas and what you have to do. Um, it is mostly in the same order, but at some point the caravan opens up like three or four different places that you can go, and you get to choose which order to go to them in. They are mostly in I guess, a leveling order, so, when it does open up like that and you do get an opportunity, just check the zone level, because you may be way underleveled. I think at one point I was about 5 levels underleveled for specific zones, and it makes it a lot harder, um, when you're trying to, say, like, beat that boss in that specific zone if you're 5 levels underleveled. It's really tough. The levels on your skill gems are really important too. It's a lot of extra power. So I guess I should start out and say the first things that you want to make sure that you're doing while you're leveling and or playing catch up in zones is always check to make sure you get the most up to date potion, because that's actually a big deal early on with how little hit points we get. And then make sure you're taking those whatever skills you've determined you're going to use. Make sure you're taking some power that's associated with them on the skill tree. Just because if you're doing all travel right now, there's not a lot of super powerful skill gems that'll um, get you through all of Act 2 unless you do take some power. So that's just a heads up for, I guess, the end boss. You want to take some power. You could respec pretty easily after that. So you should have money to do that. The first place that we're going to go to is the Vestiri outskirts, and we have to kill the boss there. Then we're going to go to the quarry, and then in the quarry mine, there's a boss. And then we go to Trader's Pass. I think that's like way over here. Yeah, it's kind of confusing the way that oh, it's over here. Trader's Pass, and there's a boss there. I think that's the boss that is for the opening up the trials, Trader's Passage, and yeah, Balbala. This boss you have to kill to be able to get to your first trial. So, this is the first zone that's really like a level check, I guess you could say. Um, and if you just know the boss mechanics, it's not too hard to do, but if you're under leveled, it really becomes a chore beating this boss. So, but when you do, it opens up um, the trial area. It's also required for, continuing through the act the first time. So then, we go to Halani's Gates, and you can just rush the boss for Halani's Gates. Like I said, I can't remember. Oh, here it is. You just are rushing the boss there. So the good thing about the changes with the roll from, characters being set to a 1, so and a 0 to change to a 0, is that you can dodge roll out of packs a little bit easier. I found during this run through, I was just able to kind of skip a lot of content within the zone. You just have to be aware of like how mobs are pathing. Sometimes you might have to run like around a tent or something like that. There's a lot of archways and kind of like thin areas on here, so that's another thing to be aware of because you can still get stuck, but I found it a lot easier to rush the boss in this area. So then after Halani Gates, we're gonna go to I think it's Keth? Yeah. And then, the boss in Keth is 2 skill points, so make sure you're doing that, and make sure you're killing the snake-like mobs so that you can get a piece of the relic that you'll need later, in Titan's Grotto. And then, it'll take you to, Lost City and Burial Shrines. I think, I have it written down here that you can kind of just run through the Lost City. There's not anything that you need to do there. Um, in the buried shrines, you want to do the boss because it has plus resistance. So let's see, the buried shrines might have an underground. Where's the boss? That's Titan's Grotto. Oh, here's the buried shrines. Must be one of these 2 bosses. I can't recall which one had the resistances, but just make sure you're doing the boss for the resists and the buried shrines. And then the next spot that I went to is the Valley of the Titans. And I think okay, so what I have here is I put the in the Valley of the Titans, I put the one piece of the shrine there because I don't think at that time the Mastodon area was open for me. Um, but you run around the Valley of the Titans and you can hit, I think there's like 3 little gates that you hit to have some eyes focus on this big, like, rock formation, and when they do focus on that, it opens up that area to Titan's Grotto. So, make sure you run around the area first, get the waypoint that's by I guess, run around the area first and click on all those little, devices or areas on the ground that, light up. Then find the waypoint to where the shrine is, um, and then go back to the heads that are focusing on that rock formation, and it'll open up Titan's Grotto, and then you're just gonna click on the waypoint there. So once you get the waypoint to Valley of the Titans and Titan's Grotto, then, you should go to Bone Pits. Make sure that you kill the Bone Pits, boss. I think, you start in the Mastodon Badlands, and then you head to Bone Pits. Make sure you kill the boss in Bone Pits. Um, and also, when you're going through Bone Pits, make sure you're killing, the hyena type mobs. In the hyena mobs will drop the other part of the Sun Relic, and, then you can come back to Valley of the Titans and put it in, the shrine and choose which one you want to, have buffed up for your medallion. So your choices are increased mana recovery from flasks or increased uh, charges gained. So once you put them both in there, you get to choose which one you want, and it's easy to switch between if you change your mind in the future. You just click on another one, and it says you have lost the 30% increase, charm charges gained, and then you receive that, and if you wanna switch back, you can just switch back. So then, after you've rushed, the bone pits and killed the mastodon boss, um, you can go to Deshar, and, in Deshar, there's, where is Deshar? There's a boss in Deshar that gives, oh, sorry, it's not a boss, it's a find a missing person quest that gives 2 skill ups. So, it should be this little icon here, the final letter. And then there's, some twin birds in Deshar's area that, you can skip, but I think there's a skill gem of an appropriate level there that you get from the chest if you kill them. I think that's how that encounter works, and that might be a good thing to do just because your skills might be under leveled at this time. So that's kind of up to you to determine. Like if you have a whole bunch of extra skills in your skill bank because you've already leveled a character, you can go ahead and skip that stuff and just use those when you can. There's a weird um spot in the skill ups levels here. It goes 26 to 31. So there's a really big gap in between skills and skill power. So by the end of Act 3, you really you don't need to be 31, but it's a huge power increase when you do hit 31 and are able to increase your skill gems. So it might be a goal to get to make the act boss hard a little bit easier, I mean, for you to get 31, but make sure that you're I guess do whatever you're comfortable with when you get to that act boss. So the next one is Spires of Deshar, and in the Spires of Deshar there's this really super easy area that's just a bunch of little, statues that come at you. They're like little, uh, obsidian maybe, statues, and it's the sisters of the Garukan, and they give you, some extra lightning resistance, so make sure you stop and do those real quick, and, I have here for the Spires of Dishar, this is a good zone to play catch up on because of the boss that you have to do here too. So then once you kill the Defiler, or sorry, beat the Defiler, you're kind of playing catch up with him, right? So you'll have to fight him again. Looks like after the spires, I think after the spires, you have to finish the horn. It could have been before the spires you finish the horn. I lost track on my notes here, so you have to do a horn quest, which includes killing the boss of Bone Pits and killing the Titan Grotto boss. So you have to do both of those to be able to create the horn, and then you go back to your caravan and you go to the end of the caravan and it stops the sands from blowing. Then you can come to the dreadnought which is appropriately named. These are, like, really big zones. I dread them every time I run through the axe. It's really rough because if you're playing minions, the minions don't want to go through the thin areas. If you're not playing minions, you're getting leaped, slammed onto, or flying bugs are coming across to attack you in mass. And AI for mobs is wonky there. And I've found a few times either a mob that reses other mobs in the zone or like an infinite respawn glitch for mobs. So these zones aren't that fun. And but if you do get to level like 31ish, uh getting that extra skill up for the boss is really beneficial. So Uh, it made it super easy for me going from 29 and trying to beat the zone to 31 and trying to beat it. It was a big difference for me. So, that's all you have to do for the axe. You can skip a lot of bosses. It looks like for me, during this run, I did a lot of extra bosses just because I was trying to find out if you actually need to do them or not. Um, but you can see here I skipped the Lost City tomb and boss here, but it looks like for the most part I did the other ones. That's it for this video. I'll be back with another one on Act 3 soon. So, uh, hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a great day. Peace.